Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EUS Challenger Series number 10. We have Instruments of Surrender and ex-Anexis swapping up sides this time round, and with ex-Anexis taking the first game very comfortably, taking the objectives all over the map. See if Instruments of Surrender can play this out differently. We do see a very different type of team composition coming out for them, but I am Pulse, and I'm joined on Metas. How's it going?
It's going very good. I am very much on the edge of my seat in anticipation for this game, Paul. So we're talking a lot in the break there about potential, ifs and buts and theory crafting. But it's one of those kind of compositions from both teams that you feel can just swing either way dependent on the execution. Master Yi. Now, you're speaking quite a lot about him in the break. What are your thoughts going into this game for Overpow? Because last time was Zeddy did a phenomenal job. Do you think he's going to be able to pull it off with Yi, though?
Yeah, it's very possible. In fact, we were saying that Caliver and Overpower are very easy to shut down because their laning phases are kind of hit and miss. So they do have the window of opportunity where Instruments of Surrender can maybe stop them from getting to that stage where they just destroy everyone by two-shotting like every person on that lineup. But with Yi in that mid lane, what he does have against that Gragas is the ability to dodge his ultimate. If he times it right, Gragas uses his explosive cask, and then Overpower immediately uses his Alpha Strike. He can get straight out of that, and then he'll also connect with him at the same time if he chooses to engage on Gragas. So in that scenario, he could be very strong. Also, as you said, I think you brought this point up, Mess, is that if Staven ganks Dredgeline comes in, again, he can dodge out of the way of it. However, this is really clever coming from Instrument Surrender. They know that Lee is not good against bruisers or people with high poke, people who can push him out. So they've pushed that Kennen into that mid lane, moved the Gragas up top lane, but now we've got another swap up from Anexis.
It is just a game of musical chairs, League of Legends version. And this is something we've seen the likes of Skara do a lot in NA/LCS. He used to play a lot of Gragas, and he actually liked going in these 1v2 lanes. The reason why is that Gragas can actually just drink his Drunken Rage, and he gets some mana back, and he also reduces damage taken. Plus, his barrel roll can actually farm minions from a fair distance away. So, Gragas is a pretty decent 1v2 laner. And as you said, Overpower did not want to be in a position up against Kennen. The reason why, Kennen's gone Doran's Blade. So his auto attacks are hitting harder. They're hitting actually pretty damn hard there, as we're seeing, quarter of that HP just chunking, almost half of that HP chunking. Meanwhile, at top though, Caliver has been caught there, forcing a couple of flashes away. Warhunter has also gone back himself. Staven is giving chase, but needs to be careful. Condemned against the wall with those double buffs. You do not want to give Caliver double buffs on Vayne, because that is just going to be very scary to play up against. But as we were saying before, I'm keeping an eye here. Actually, the flash comes in from Caliver. He's going to pick up first blood. They're looking for the second as well. Barrier has been used there. He's trying his best to escape, but that Titan's Wrath is just doing so much damage. Somehow, though, Caliver's still alive, and he gets the double kill at the cost of his support, but worth it. 100% worth it for Caliver.
2-for-1 trade, and he has the double buff. Well, we were talking about the 1v2 potential of Gragas, but a level 3 Caliver double buff against a level 1 Gragas, all of a sudden it's not looking too great.
It really isn't, and with double buff, his silver proc bolts are just, they're gonna hit even harder now because of that red buff constantly being attached on top of it. So, and that's not even mentioning the fact with the first blood gold and the double kill gold as well, their Caliber's going back to spawn with over 1,000 gold. So he's gonna be coming back in with a Vampiric Scepter and boots. Not looking good for Warhunter here. He's probably like, thanks a lot, mate. Thank you, Staven. You came into my lane, and now Vayne's just horribly fed.
Yeah, I can't imagine what's going on Instruments of Surrender's T-Speak right now. It's got to be like, well, double kill to Vayne at the stage in the game. Can't shut down that lane, and now they've got to look towards Yi as well. Lord's Dead comes into that mid lane. Snake actually immediately flashes out, mitigating that gank from limits of reversal as well. And they really are looking to push this one home. Staven behind, along with that top lane being level 3. Has caught up in levels, but the double buff Vayne and the double kill, allowing him to pick up a Vamp Sep and boots on top of that Doran's Blade. He should have a free ride into that mid game.
No, we're talking about the fact that Overpower would not want to go up against Snake, because with the Doran's Blade and the constant harass, I have got an eye fixed firmly on top lane as well, just in case some action kicks loose with Nautilus. He's hungry for that revenge. He wants his double buffs back. But you have to say this is smart from Overpow, because he's actually got the flask, but actually the engage has came in here. Grasping Roots landing on both Warhunter and Stevan, but Kellever is completely left open on the outsides with the red buff, is just chunking through that HP. Even though they haven't picked up the kill here, Pulse, they're doing the damage in terms of making Gragas chug through his health pots and keeping Stevan at the top lane, so he's not going to have any presence elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention that point myself. It's forced them into a 2 versus 2 lane, and Dredgeline comes out once again, but Kellever is just not allowing them to make anything happen. He's keeping hold of this double buff, making sure that Warhunter does not get any farm at all. The limits of reversal was completely on point in this game as well. In fact, in that first game, something I didn't mention is the fact he was keeping himself in front of Nautilus, making sure that he couldn't Dredgeline to Vayne, actually keeping Vayne alive and allowing him to pick up the double buff in turn as well. So at this top lane, just making sure there's no way for Gragas to farm. 24 farm to 26, so he's not doing too badly, but that gold differential and the creep differential will open up very rapidly indeed.
Yeah, and this is allowing Kellever as well. Going back to Kellever, I mean, the reason we're doing it, double kill, double buffs, like, yeah. there's a reason. We're not just fanboying for no apparent point. But either way, Kellever, you know, we said this before, early game Vayne doesn't have the greatest of times, but with that double kill, it is escalating her towards middle game that much quicker. And actually, due to all of that horrible harassment for Gragas, they've switched things up back again. Kennan's now going up to top lane, Gragas filling in the blanks in mid. But that's a level 4 Gragas against a level 6 Overpower on Yi. Not ideal situation to be in.
Yeah, meanwhile, bot lane, Nasus looking for this guy to happen, doesn't quite connect the Wither, and he doesn't have the ultimate as well. The Zaxxas actually just comes into that level 6. And looks like he was trying to leech some EXP, just so he could hit that level 6 himself. But this is interesting. Even though Gragas was behind at the top lane, was it a better idea to keep him behind, and then have Snake, who's probably going to be shut down by Kellever anyway, and then put Overpower in a better situation, so they'll have 2 damage threats? Because this now allows Overpower to be in an even better situation, where he can just carry on farming, because he's got nothing really to fear from Gragas. So not only is Vayne going to be fed, he's probably going to be fed as well.
Yeah, it's just kind of damage limitation point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where, yeah, I would not like to be in the TeamSpeak. I would not like to be in this position, this predicament right now that Instruments of Surrender find themselves in. Because it's like, heads you win, tails I lose. Whatever happens, you're behind here. And Overpower is still 2 levels ahead, just chunking through with Alpha Strike. And this is also not really allowing Snake to get any CS. He's constantly back on his side of the river, because Kellever has caught up in levels. And you can see the silver bolts just procking off there, knocking about a quarter to a third of Snake's hit points away from him. So it's just not looking good in these early stages. However, when we get into those team fights, when that AoE really comes to fruition, I feel that's when iOS can count themselves in this matchup. But Drake is going down.
Yeah. And Arrow comes across, hits Nasus right in the backside. Warhunter comes in as well. He just had the explosive cast, but great flash actually pushes him to safety. Zaxxas comes in, Frozen Tomb comes out as well. Glacial Path comes down, connects with Warhunter. Nice ice shot, picks up the kill in return. 1-for-1 trade, but more importantly, keeps them away from that Drake. Fury of the Sands was popped down by Nasus, won't have that ultimate for a while, and has stopped the snowballing effect coming in from ex-Anexis.
Yeah, they were trying desperately, as they did last game, to pick up that sneaky Drake, but this time on point Ash Arrow coming through, so the Enchanted Crystal Arrow doing its work, and they do manage to keep Drake up just a little bit longer. But Vayne, feeling so comfortable right now, has taken a level advantage over Snake, and here comes the final hour. Snake behind the tower, and oh, I thought he was going to escape, but actually the plant finishes him off halfway through the lightning charge. So that is just going to put Kellever and Limits of Reversal that little bit further ahead. And again, Steven's like, oh, for God's sake, I am sick of the sight of this top lane. But he just has to keep coming up here, Pulse, because if he doesn't, his tower's going to fall.
Yeah, there was a moment there where I think everyone held their breath and it's like, is he actually going to escape? He was on like 10 HP, but the plant finished it off. In fact, Seller thought that as well and flashed for the kill. So that's a flash down on Vayne, but not going to be too upset with that outcome. And right now, it's all going to be down to positioning when we hit these team fights. And in fact, we might even see Limits of Reversal using that Drake as a catalyst for a team fight, because they do have that Gragas ultimate along with Snake as well. So if they key those two together, then they'll have an extremely strong team fight. And it's really going to be down to positioning from Vayne and Overpower, who haven't scaled completely up just yet, so they're still able to be shut down. and see if they can position themselves so they can escape those big ultimates.
Yeah, and you know, we've been putting a lot of, you know, presence and a lot of praise up at top lane, but it's important to note that Instruments of Surrender's bot lane there, Ashe and also Sona, have taken down that first tower, so they've got first blood in terms of towers, and Ashe has been chugging along at a fairly decent rate, 92 CS, and has a BF sword and a Vampiric Scepter. And I said this in the break, that a lot of people underestimate Ashe's damage late game. It is absolutely astronomically huge, and the initiation as well, so that is definitely a character to watch out for as we progress through this game. The wards have been cleared around Drake there. Here comes the arrow, will land on Nasus. He's been forced off of his ultimate. Here comes the depth charge as well, and also the explosive cast from Krangers. That was just wham bam, thank you ma'am, and he will be falling down. So many ultimates being used in the process, but that's going to be 2-for-0 trade. So iOS doing a marvelous job here, Paul, you know, pulling themselves back.
Yeah, Warhunter was so close to becoming a reset for Yi though, and that would have converted into another kill surely on Demonko. So the fact that he was able to keep himself alive was actually very important in that fight. That's the second time an Ashe Arrow has caught out Nasus, and the second time they've stopped them from taking Drake. So maybe they're just going to give the ghost and be like, alright, we'll just back away from the Drake, we'll do something else. But so far, it's really just allowing them to keep themselves in the game, and that's really huge right now. 2-2-1 right now for Gragas. He's actually in a much better position than he was previously.
Oh, absolutely. He is going to be happy after that little fight. He's going to breathe a huge sigh of relief because it was looking really ominous, really precarious for him just a few moments prior. And also just globally, that is just good news for iOS. Now pull themselves back to about 300 gold ahead. Still very close. The Kellever has been caught out of position. The Crescendo will be coming down as well. Nixar is just going to be popping off those auto attacks. Here comes Limits of Reversal from the side. This is a lot of damage and the push against the wall, but it's not enough damage. And the Aria of Perseverance comes good once again. Flash and Dredge line in. That is going to spell the end, and Carry Sona is on the battlefield, picking up the double kill.
Yeah, double kill goes down, picked up by Sona, and well, I'm not going to be too unhappy with that outcome, but would have liked it on Ashe. Nixor will be very happy, but the ultimate comes in at the top lane. In fact, both of the ultimates. Frozen Tomb comes down, and Ignite sticking off against Snake as well, and the Caster minion aggro drops very low. The Ice Arrow comes out. Meanwhile, at bot lane, not really sure that was 8. I think it was looking towards the Nasus once again. Third time was not the charm, but they will be moving themselves onto this Drake.
I just saw in chat there, hashtag Sona mechanics. Indeed. Big Sona plays there from Demonko. Now, have an engage though on Drake. Again, it has been that point of contention thus far. He's got one, he's got two as well. He is just getting these resets left, right, and center. He is going absolutely huge right now, and Vayne comes in from the backside, and they pick up the Drake. So we've been talking about how iOS are bringing themselves back in this game as a massive slap in the face, courtesy of the Samurai Sword of Overpower.
Yeah, Master Yi, as soon as he gets one reset, that's extra damage, and because he had the blue buff as well, he was able to just keep throwing out those alpha strikes. And it doesn't seem too much as a single alpha strike, but start chaining them together. Even though it's not as much as APE used to be, he's still got the auto attacks, and he's got the passive as well, which with the double strike. So Yi, if he gets one kill, he's the classic reset champion, incredibly strong. And you saw it right there, essentially just 1v4ing their team.
Just absolutely insane. The fact that you can't target him as well, Pulse, just adds salt in the wounds. It's like, where is that damned Yi? Oh, that's right, he's invisible again, crushing my face, and there's nothing I can do about it. And as soon as you die, you just know that he's going to keep that ball rolling. So, a 4-for-0 trade and the Drake, and suddenly a blink of an eye, 3k gold differential comes out on the board. Much closer game, though, has to be said. Kellever has been caught again here at the bot lane. Crescendo coming down, that was beautiful time, and also the arrow as well from Ashe. So that's going to be a 1-for-0 trade completely for free, but a couple ultimates were burnt in the process. However, with Drake not being up, no big deal here for iOS.
Yeah, completely agree. But meanwhile, we've got the Staven completely caught out. Riptide comes down, but Overpower, it's just so much damage coming out, has the Highlander active, and just gets picked up in return. And in fact, my point before that happened was this game was completely back and forth, and that just proved my point. Overpower, just making those plays, you know, without Overpower, might have actually just completely turned the game for Instruments of Surrender. Once again, Grassroots comes down on point, lands onto Warhunter, but no one really to follow up in that 2 versus 3 situation. So right now, Overpower is allowing his team to keep themselves in the game, but they are kind of slipping. This is the second time we've seen Kellever caught.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a fine line to tread, Pulse, when you're playing Vayne. A lot of it is, okay, I've had a pretty nice start here, got that double kill, but don't get yourself carried away. Vayne is very strong, yes, but she's not indestructible. And that's what Keller has found out the hard way over these last few moments. However, that being said, Overpower is sneaking his way into a very farmed and fed position here. He's looking for another kill. Highlander has been popped off. There's the Alpha Strike as well. Slicing Maelstrom will not even stave off the inevitable. And that's another kill, the 4th kill to Master Yi, who is just chugging through this gold, already over 1,000, and does have the Avarice Blade.
Looking so strong, and now the roaming potential as well. Doesn't have the CC, but that's being supplied by his lane. Zaxxas with the Frozen Tomb and the slow, of course, from Ice Shard. But actually, Yi right now is just doing so much damage, and we've spoken so much about the Vayne. But meanwhile, bot lane, Socialmedia is moving on to Nixar. 3rd time's the charm. Gets caught, but this time he's able to turn it around. Demonko dropping low, but flash comes in from Keller. And one more auto attack should seal the deal. There it is, and should be able to pick up the bot tower as well. Double kill coming in for Vayne. It looks like 2 fed AD carries. Very difficult indeed for Instruments to Surrender to deal with.
I'm really struggling to understand why they engaged that fight though, Pulse. Crescendo was not off cooldown for Sona, so you're burning the Ash Arrow in, knowing that Stranglethorns is off cooldown, knowing that that instant retaliation is going to come in from Limits of Reversal, who's not missed a Stranglethorns over these 2 games. So you're already putting yourself in a really dangerous position, and you're effectively just giving Keller a double kill. That engage made absolutely no sense to me, and they got crushed in retaliation. So we've been talking about Keller getting quite out of position a couple of times. It doesn't matter if he's fed 2 kills for nothing.
Yeah, and it kind of felt maybe it was the result of them winning those last 2 engagements. Kind of made them a little bit too cocky and thought, well, you know, we can probably go for this engage, and as it turned out, they couldn't, and Keller is now 5-2-1, picking up the Blades of the Ruined King and also looking towards a Phantom Dancer as well. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Blades of the Ruined King and Overpower looking to pick up another kill. Warhunter pops down the ultimate, but it's just not enough. With the ultimate coming out from Staven, cancelled by the Alpha Strike, jumping straight into the Meditate, keeps himself healthy, life stealing off the minions as well. LOL's dead, picks up another kill, 2 for 0, and no one can shut down Overpower.
Yi is just ridiculous at this point. How in the hell did he manage to kill Gragas and survive in that situation? Any other character, he'd have been dead. Now, Snake's found himself Nasus, but I'm not too sure he wants to go toe-to-toe with LOL's dead play Dota. Again, I still can't go with that name. But either way, Zaxxas is pushing the top lane there. Glacial Path through and the Ice Shards is enough to clear out the majority of that wave, and they pull themselves back. But again, we're talking about this in the Champion Select as well, Pulse. There are so many threats on the cards for ex-Anexis. You know, Yi's doing a really nice job right now, but you've also got Vayne. If you come up in a 5 versus 5 fight up against these, who do you focus? What do you do in this situation? That's not even mentioning Lissandra. That's not even mentioning the Fury of the Sands Nasus running at your face with the Ghost, sorry, not the Ghost, the Flash, and just basically getting up in your grill with Wither. Who do you focus?
It's almost like a copy and paste from the first game with this kind of predicament messes, because last game we were like, well, they can't focus one person. You've got, you know, Zaxxas on that, Elise, you've also got the damage coming from the mid lane and bot lane. So with all these threats all over the board, there's no one person you can deal with, because everyone else will just destroy your team. This time round, you've got Vayne, you've got Yi, and then also Zaxxas. And not only that, they have 2 abilities which essentially keep them untargetable. You've got the Alpha Strike and the Frozen Tomb if you decide to cast it on herself. And it's incredibly difficult. I don't want to say that the game is over, but honestly, for this type of composition that ex-Anexis are running, it's the type of composition which is weak in the early game, and if they get themselves rolling, it's almost impossible to shut them down. The counter to their team composition is never letting them get to this stage. And the question is it too far gone?
Yeah, the only hope they have is just flat out bursting someone down. The Ash Arrow comes through, but not going to be connecting. Forcing the Flash though from Limits of Reversal, who was a bit antsy on the Flash button there, but again, better safe than sorry. But this is probably going to allow a Drake coming in for Instruments of Surrender, which is going to be very welcome for them. But this could be at the cost for a mid tower and a top tower as well, as he is just smashing upon this tower right now, alongside the help of the Nasus. Meanwhile, though, around Drake, there has been 1 kill going down, looking like it could very well be 2, looking like it could potentially be 3 here, because Kellever is on a roll. The plant actually finishes that one off for the 2nd time this game. Kellever is still giving chase. Is the flash going to be coming out from a Snake? No, it won't be. Been forced against the wall and will be dying afterwards. So beautiful play, and at the top lane as well. Pulses, more action going down. Overpower's going to pick up his double kill, looking for his triple. Can Warhunter reject that one? Yes, he can, but that's going to be top tower falling.
Yep, they took the Drake and lost top tower and mid turret. Looks like they're going to take an inhibitor as well on top of that. And Staven saying WTF damage. And honestly, I think that's the best way to describe Overpower right now.
It pretty much is. Like, what else can you say? Just WTF about sums it up. That's going to actually be 2 inhib towers, and potentially 2 inhibs falling as well. The resurrections have came up here from iOS though, but they don't have the slicing maelstrom, they don't have the crescendo, and they don't have the explosive cask. So I have to question what they're actually going to do here. Overpower darting around the edges. Nasus could be falling down here from Gragas. And here comes a depth charge, and the arrow as well in from Ash. Kellever has been caught out of position, but again, a beautiful strangle thorns courtesy of Limits of Reversal. Has he done enough to keep his AD carry alive? Nice little condemn, knocking back Kennen. Here comes a grasping reach. This is just a masterclass on Zyra support right now, keeping his AD carry alive much longer than he should have, maybe even sacrificing his own life. Final hour has been used, however. Can Kellever go in a 1 versus 5 situation? It's not looking too good. He's picked up one beautiful kiting potential, condemning away as well, and he's actually going to live to fight for another day, or is he? Because Ash is flashing in and will finish him off to spoil this fairy tale ending. Still, damage has been done.
Yeah, damage has been done indeed. 2-for-1 trade comes out, and Yi is actually back in the action though. Meditate comes down, along with the ultimate from Xaxis. In fact, that was from Snake, but now Overpower with the cleanup. Picks up 2 kills. Can he just kick up the Quadra? And in the blink of an eye, kicks up 4 kills in quick succession. Very easily could have been the Penta had the last person been around. And it's just cleanup on Ivory.
GG Riot. that's all you can say. He gets a rework and suddenly he's unstoppable. 11-1. How much gold does he actually even have? About 4,000, you know, casual. And then it's going to be the surrender vote coming in. Can you honestly blame them here, Pauls? Like, when Yi effectively 1v4s you, I think that's about time to throw in the white towel.
Yeah, I think we're done here. And Yi, I wouldn't say he's OP just yet, but the fact he scales way too hard. Like, if you give him a couple kills, he will just go huge. It's getting to that point now, and his team played it very well to get him into the right position where he could go huge, but he still has that opportunity to be shut down. And remember when we had, like, release Vayne, and it was like, oh, Vayne was OP because if she gets a kill, then she kills everyone. But it's just down to shutting her down in the laning phase, and no one right now would say, well, actually, this is a bad time to say it because people are saying Vayne's OP, but, like, take it back a couple months, you'd be saying, you know, Vayne isn't completely overpowered. Early game, you can shut her down. Same with Yi. I feel the same is applicable. But if he does get rolling, then he just becomes untargetable, and that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, that you would say to a lot of other hyper carries that bring a lot of CC to the table, bring an exhaust, something like that, and they're effectively useless. But with Yi, the difference between him and a lot of other reset champions is that you look at Katarina, for example, she's targetable throughout. She can jump on you, sure, but you can still attack her while she's doing it. But with Yi, when he alpha strikes, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you saw in that quadra kill that he picked up at the end, half of that fight he was effectively invisible. Like, he was just darting around alpha striking. So it's one of those kind of situations where if you're against a fed Yi, there is so little that you can do.
Yeah, and if he does get rolling, not only does he have the alpha strikes, he's got the auto attacks. He essentially becomes an untargetable AD carry, which is well, essentially impossible to deal with. But anyway, guys, that was 2-0 series, plural of series. So in fact, we are done for today, but we will have more action tomorrow and the rest of the week, in fact, because we are doing 2 challenger series on the bounce, so we will have plenty more action for you guys tomorrow and every day until this week, until about Sunday, I think. So I don't think we have anything more to add on that front, but for today we are done, so I guess it's plugging time, Metas.
Yes, I would hope that you guys. We haven't had a great deal of viewers today, 760 or thereabouts. Thank you very much for staying with us throughout this evening's proceedings. But I think it's been down to a lot of Hon and Dota stuff going around, polls. But please feel free to follow the stream. Bottom left of your screen right now will notify you when we're about to go live. But where can these ladies and gents follow you, Pulse, if they enjoyed your casting of this evening?
Oh, you want to follow me? I'm at Impulsible on Twitter or facebook.com/watchyourpulse. I'm also doing giveaways when I hit 200 likes on Facebook, so get over that. It'll be for Riot NASAs and some RP codes as well. I'll be doing the same on Twitter when I hit another milestone. So, for Metas, where can they find you?
Seriously, follow Pulse. He has way too few viewers and likes for his casting. Honestly, give him a follow. If you like my stuff, it's facebook.com/MetasTV. I think that is going to do it for tonight, Pulse. We have action coming up tomorrow, and I'm not sure. Normally we do reruns. Probably best to ask Bast first before I announce anything. Are we? We're not going to be doing reruns for tonight. Okay, so we'll be live tomorrow, Bast. Do you have any ideas on the time for tomorrow? Same time, so 1845 CEST, and of course that is 1745 if you are from the UK. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.